can't tell you everything right now. At least
Jack McKay, the early years.
I think we better interrupt this bedtime story.
So it was 1993, and I went on another audition. I went on an audition for Beverly Hills 90210, the original one, not the revamped one later on in the 2000s. This was the original one with Luke Perry. So I went to the audition, and it went well. I thought it went well. And then my agent, about a day later, everything used to happen fast. Everything used to happen really fast, and everything still happens very fast in television. But I don't think as fast as it used to back then. So I got a call from my agent that the casting person put me on hold. And what that's called, when they put you on hold, avail or hold, it means they're calling your agent because they like you, and they want to see if you're available for their scheduled shoot date. So my agent contacted me, and yes, I was available. I always made myself available no matter what. If I had to take off of work, if I had to quit work, nothing was stopping me from being on network television when they asked for me. So I told them I was available. And then about a day later, they called me back for a callback. So I went in for the callback. Now, this was pretty funny. I went into the callback, and I think up to this date, current day, I've never been in a room with as many people on a callback. There were people standing in the background. The main people were sitting at a round table. It was at a audition spot, used to be on Hollywood Boulevard, a big office, real fancy. So I went in there, walked in, and one funny thing happened. Back then I had these work shoes, short work shoes that I would wear to auditions when it was a rough type of character. And I didn't have laces in the shoes. And one of the producers said, "Oh, we like your shoes, but where are your laces?" And I said, "Oh, my feet are so big, I don't even need the laces." And everybody started laughing. So I said, "Okay, great, I won them over." And then I did the audition, and it went good. I could tell it went good. And I think they gave me a little bit of a redirection. Now, what a redirection is when they like it, and a redirection serves two purposes. They want to see if you can change the plan that you walk in the room with, if you're directable. Because what a lot of directors are afraid of, if an actor does a performance and they don't like it, the actor may be stuck with it and they can't change it. They have a hard time changing it. So that's something they want to know, if you're directable. So they gave me some direction that was completely different, and I was able to adapt. That was a skill that I already had, being able to change, take their suggestions and layer them on top of what I had planned. And I really had no problem with that. In those situations when I'm going on a casting, I'm very flexible. And that's how you have to be, because they sometimes will just redirect you to see if you're directable. They don't want to get on the set and they're arguing with somebody, with an actor that won't do it their way or thinks it should be done another way. But anyway, I did it, and they said, "Thank you, blah, 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 blah." And I left. And about a day later, I heard back from my agent. I booked it. So I was so happy. I think we even had a rehearsal for that. I can't remember. A separate rehearsal. This was in '93, so I kind of don't remember. But anyway, I do remember the day on the set. Something really interesting happened. The shoot, if you're familiar with Los Angeles, there's an area called Alvarado Street. And that's where the shoot was set. And that's downtown Los Angeles. And it's right across from the big train station, the Amtrak station down in LA, the big main one. And so anyway, Alvarado Street is kind of like a historic Mexican area where they have a lot of booths and businesses that have been there for hundreds of years. But anyway, they had booked the whole place, and we were shooting there. So one of the first interesting things that happened, I arrived on the set, met the first AD or the second AD, and they showed me to my trailer, gave me my wardrobe, went through hair and makeup, got everything set up. And then they brought me to the set, and I was in the scene with Luke Perry, which I didn't know at that time. I knew I was in the scene with somebody, and the reason I didn't know it because I wasn't that familiar with the show. I had never watched it, and I didn't tell them that was a big secret. I never told them that. I just act like, oh yeah, they never asked me anyway, because honestly, tell you the truth, it really didn't matter. But I didn't even know his character name on the show. But then when we got on the set, I met him, and he was a nice guy. I was sorry when I heard he had passed away a few years ago. But anyway, he came up and started talking and shook hands and blah, 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 blah. And then we did the scene. One thing that happened funny in the scene was that it was, I'm going to show you the scene in a moment, but it was a scene when Luke was lost in thought. We're down in the crowd on Alvarado Street, and then he's lost in thought. He hears a balloon pop, and I think that makes his memory pop to something bad that happened in the past. And I hadn't seen the whole script. I just read the scene that I was in. And so he hears the pop, then he turns and he's lost in thought. And then I'm supposed to step in after I give him the necessary time to be lost in thought. So the first time, everything was ready, everything was set. And then I don't think we rehearsed it right before that, or if we did, my timing was good. So once they said action, I only waited like 1, 2, 3, and then I stepped in. And then the director said, cut. And then the director came over to me. He said, Adam, you gotta really hold it. Give Luke some time to process his thoughts. He's going through a lot there. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I think I did it again. I stepped in a little bit too soon. And then the third time, I gave him a whole bunch of time. I gave him more than enough time necessary. And then I stepped in and I tapped him on the shoulder. And so that was a great experience working with him and working with the timing, trying to figure out, to guess what the director wanted. Now, the director, at that time I hadn't directed that much. I had directed a few things in college, and I'd done 1 or 2 independent films, but the director should have told me. All he had to say was, before you step in and tap him on the shoulder, give it to like a slow 10 count. Those are the things that you need to do. But the thing about television is it has a whole bunch of different directors. So for all I know, this director didn't have that much experience either. But anyway, it all worked out. Scene went well. I liked it. They liked it because they really did like me. I got a little bit of add on to that after I show you the episode. So let me show you the episode first. It's real short, 30 seconds. Like I said before, I don't have the, there might be a little bit more, but this was the heart of the episode. This is from my old acting reel. So let me show you the episode.
I can't tell you everything right now. There's
Jack McKay, the early years.
I think we better interrupt this bedtime story. Glad you could make it. You want to follow me?
Who are you?
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that right here, right now, in broad daylight with all these people around. Now, who are you?
So yeah, that was the scene. Went good. The funny thing about it, which I didn't tell you guys, was that after the episode was shot, I was walking back to my car through Alvarado Street, and all of a sudden, I didn't know it, but there were spectators. They had a bunch of extras on the scene. In that scene that you just saw, all those people walking around were extras. But behind the extras were real people, and they were watching. So I was walking back to my car, and literally, it was a school bus with probably like 40 or 50 high school girls. And all of a sudden, they were rushing towards me. And I was like, and they circled around me, and one of them stepped up and said, that's him. He touched Luke's shoulder. He touched Luke's shoulder. Because in the scene, I tapped him on the shoulder. And that was at the height of his fame, a heartthrob for teenage girls. They seemed like preteens, but I couldn't believe it. Like 50 or 60 young girls came rushing over. I don't know how they knew the scene was going on. I don't know. They might have had tours back then. The show was so popular that they knew when they were shooting in public and people could come and watch. They had to stand behind a certain way. But it was so funny, and I started laughing, and I said, "Yes, I touched him with this finger right here. This is the finger I tapped Luke's shoulder. Luke's shoulder." So yeah, that was funny. That was a great little experience. And then here's a little bit of a kicker. I showed you the whole scene. It was 2 scenes, as you saw. It was one in the van, and there was the one down Alvarado Street. But the one in the van was shot later. What happened was I had shot the Alvarado Street, and then about a week later, they decided to call me back for a second episode. So I ended up doing 2 episodes. It was 2 different days, and I was so excited by that. They called me back for a second day, and that's when we did the Alvarado Street. But the first day was the van scene that you saw, where I was in the van. And here's a quick little funny story about the van scene. During the audition, that the director actually asked me after the audition was over. They said two things. Okay, two funny little things. I had gave the character a backstory when I did the audition. I gave the character a backstory where he hated Luke's father. So I made the character real important. And when I did the scene, I did something like, we got to shut this down because this guy is really getting to me. It's enough of story time or something. I did it with a little bit more edge and anger. And then the director said, oh, that was great during the audition. He said, oh, that was great. He said, but I can't have you do it that way because you're going to change the whole storyline. And I didn't know what he meant at that time. But what he meant was if I made my character care that much, then the viewer was going to wonder, why does this FBI agent care so much about Luke's father or care so much about Luke? So I had to soften it. And you saw in the performance how I softened it. And obviously I booked the role, but I was able to take that direction and change it and then do it as softer version. So that worked out for me. And again, that was a good episode. It was surprisingly turned into 2 episodes. And just all in all, great 2-day shoot on Beverly Hills 90210. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.